What's happening, everybody? It's your big homie, though, checking in one time for the one time back. This is the 10th episode, the last episode of the season. Boy, you see that consistency? That boy just back to bike, to bike, to bike, to bike. I can't even go back to bike. But on the last episode of the season, I got my man, Cody Waddey, of Three Sisters Sorbet. And welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So we just get right into it, man. You originally from Franklin and you grew up hooping.
That is correct.
I can. I'm from Paducah, so kind of similar to, I mean, you can't tell by my weight that I used to shoot a little ball, but I did a little thing or two. Grab a rebound or two, outlet pass. Yeah, nothing too major.
It's a team game. Got to have some rebound.
Yeah, got to have somebody rebound.
Yeah.
Man, so tell us about growing up in Franklin, man, and just your upbringing and how you got to where you are now. We'll just start from the beginning.
That's a lot. I'll just start with Franklin. I had a very good childhood in Franklin, I would say. Surprising maybe to some people, especially back when I grew up. I ain't going to say exactly my age, but I'm an 80s baby, grew up in the 90s. It was a thriving black community in Franklin. I said a lot more of us, of course. With the housing price rising and things rising, it becomes less and less. But my childhood in Franklin was filled with, honestly, working on farms.
Okay.
And a lot of basketball, man. That's what I tried to do to keep me busy. And to be honest, my dad ain't never seen the military. But a lot of my friends and cousins would say he's something like a military dad. So he was always farming. He always had jobs. So I learned pretty early that if I didn't want to work with him all day, every day, over the weekends, I needed to find something to do. So hooping, playing basketball became my outlet for that.
Got you. And were you playing basketball from, bitty ball, when did basketball come into your life? Was it, early on? When did you pick up the ball?
I don't remember.
Okay.
That's how long it's been. I've been playing ball until I can't remember. I have a very vivid memory. Shout out to my cousin Chris. I had to be about 5 years old. Man, he was showing me how to jab step, showing me how to pump fake. I'm 5 years old, pump faking. So, when I got to the point of playing ball, whether it's rec league, school ball, I was already, I like to say pretty advanced. And I had a real hunger to be the best I could be because, again, I did not want to go home to my father and do working 24/7 like he liked to do.
Got you. Mm-hmm. And at that time, because I'm gonna be honest, like it's some hoopers that come out of that area, that Franklin, that Columbia, that let's see what else is out there, Lewisburg area. Some hoopers. I know a little. Mm-hmm. So who'd you grow up hooping with? What was the competition like?
It was fierce, I would say. I'll be honest, while Franklin is very close to Columbia, I feel like I learned my bones and kind of built my confidence hooping with a lot more cats in Nashville.
Okay.
But I would say one in particular, my guy from Columbia, Waddell Williams. He was a hooper. He's a year younger than me, but had plenty of battles with him. For the Nashville people, I played with Mario Moore.
Okay.
My guy, Lil Penny, Brian Collins, the head coach of TSU. Me and him been playing against each other since 8th grade. I played a lot of cold hoopers, man. I remember DeMarco Polk.
Okay.
I don't know if you know him, but he's a cat from Stratford. Graduated around the time I did, about 2002, 3. But a whole lot of hoopers. And it was back then, we started playing AAU. I think I've been playing AAU since 6th grade. Back then, we had to earn your spot. Everybody couldn't play AAU when I was growing up. Yeah, now everybody on the team, blah, blah, blah. You just pay your way. Back then, you had to be hooping. They come to the rec leagues and they pick, the best players and then build the AAU team. So I've been playing cats probably in Nashville since 7th, 8th grade once I got on the AAU circuit.
Got you. And, going through elementary school, through middle school, you get to high school, you make the high school team. Mm-hmm. And what was that experience like?
It was interesting, man. Like you would expect, playing Franklin, especially then, when the district, I think District 6, I forget the number, but, we were the only Franklin team. We were in teams with all the Nashville teams, Hillsborough, Hillwood, Overton, Pearl-Cone, Maplewood, McGavitt. Those are the teams we played. So that was obviously interesting playing new teams, and obviously I played in middle school and growing up in elementary school. And then my high school experience in itself was unique. As a freshman, the senior starting point guard quit the team. But it was
You a senior? You just gonna quit?
The coach was a little difficult. I give Fly some credit. He had a hard time with that coach. But to my benefit, I actually started on the varsity
You
team.
said Fly. What's his name?
Daniel Fly.
I think I know Daniel.
If you don't, you might know his brother Greg. He's one of Franklin's more legendary athletes. He was a baseball player, basketball player. People begging him to play scholarship. So yeah, you might know the Fly brothers.
Yeah. But yeah, when you said that last name, I like, I know. I think I know that cat.
Yeah, makes
but
sense.
Proceed,
Yeah. So he quit. I started on a varsity team as a freshman in high school. Like the last 15, 20 games of the season. Now, we weren't no good. You starting a freshman point guard against grown men. But it helped me. You get what I'm saying? So when I came back my sophomore, junior, senior year,
you were ready.
Very comfortable.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I took my L's, took my beatings. And it led me to have a very successful high school career at Franklin High School.
Okay. When you was at Franklin High School, was you getting recruited? Was somebody coming to holler at you after the games? Like, hey, come here, son. I got a little something for you. What you trying to do?
A little bit. I feel like the recruiting game was a little different back then. If you weren't for a big city, it was a little harder for you to, make a splash, get on the scene. But I definitely had some recruits. I say probably one of the biggest schools that were recruiting me, especially early on, was maybe like Austin Peay, TSU. I can say other mid majors like that throughout the state were looking at me, but at the time I was just so intent on going to a major D1. I actually went to JUCO right out of high school and played for a year.
Okay, and where was this JUCO at? Do you mind shouting them out, or is it one of them situations where you like, I'd rather not say?
Nah. It's all good. I played Motlow State, man. I went down there in Tullahoma.
Okay.
If you're familiar. It's technically in Lynchburg, right outside by the Jack Daniels Distillery.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny because I had one of my first AAU tournaments down there when I was like 7th, 8th grade, and then I ended up going to JUCO. And I'll be honest, they were one of the first people that would recruit me. Shout out to Lonnie Thompson. He's an MTSU legend. Shout out to Murfreesboro. He ended up coaching at Cumberland University for a long time. And I ended up out there.
Man, people, whatever, people kind of look down upon the JUCO circuit, but a lot of great players then came out of JUCO. I mean, we talking Larry Johnson, Sean Kemp, Sean Marion,
Scottie Pippen,
Quintel Woods. I can go. Even Dante Jones.
Yeah, I forgot about
because what's crazy about Dante is, so my mother's side and my family on my mother's side is from Mississippi.
Gotcha.
And my uncle used to always tell me about this cat from Nashville that was down there and hooping at
Mississippi State.
It's before he went to Mississippi State.
Oh, okay.
It was
JUCO.
a JUCO.
Yeah, gotcha.
He's like, man, he cold. He definitely going to the league. I was like, man, who you talking about? I don't know who the kid is. And shoot, man, a couple years later, Dante Jones to the New York Knicks. Oh man, that's who my people was talking about. But anyway, that journey. I mean, it's definitely a grind. But man, I mean, as long as you get in there and do what you're supposed to do, it'll pay off.
Yeah. And a lot of people understand it's different reasons to go to JUCO. I went just because I wanted to get some better looks and hopefully, get some better prospects. But a lot of times people have the talent. They end up just needing to go to JUCO to get your grades up or do this or that. So it's a lot of different reasons to go to JUCO. And like you said, especially the last few years, we've seen a lot of people making it from all types of different backgrounds. You can be D3 and make it to the league this year. As long as you ball out,
right.
You can do your thing.
Yeah, man. So I know you went to Motlow State, and what led you to TSU, to a HBCU, to some blackness?
Yeah. So again, as you mentioned, coming from Franklin, like I said, it was more blackness, as you would say, in the 90s, but it wasn't the most, right? Let's just be honest. It ain't Nashville, it ain't Memphis. It's far from it. So after I didn't have the best experience at Motlow after my first year, I actually took a year off from hooping. And I came back and went to Columbia State for a year. And to be honest, I was thinking about changing directions and not doing the basketball thing no more. And I decided that it was time for me to go to a real school. So since I'm not going to play basketball, I'm from the Franklin area. I also had a older brother who had already went to TSU. So I decided to go there as strictly a student. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 2 years removed from high school before I first stepped foot on TSU. I remember stayed at Boyd Hall for one semester. Shout out to Boyd. And I mean, I like I said, not having that experience of being immersed in black culture. That's what attracted me to TSU, and it changed my life that first semester on campus. You know, it was just the first time I just seen so many of us every day in so many different lights, different versions. You know, different personalities, different swags, different dress, all of that. And I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I loved my experience there.
And so, what was you majoring in when you stepped on to TSU's campus?
I'll be honest, I didn't even have a major. I ain't lie, man. I never went to JUCO for grades or anything. I've always been a decent student, got a pretty good memory. So I had an associate's degree when I got to TSU. I talked to a counselor, and she had basically sent me two directions. It was either going to be engineering school or business administration. And she told me, I told her I was good with math, and she's like, well, you know, them accounting degrees, you get one of those, you pretty much guarantee you a job. I said, all right, well, that's where I'm going. So I ended up with business administration with a focus in accounting.
Okay, money man.
Yeah, you know.
Got to touch the paper. Got to come see me first, baby, to get you legit out here.
One thing to get the papers, another thing to know how to keep it, you know, and that's what the accountant's supposed to help you with.
See, I mean, we all need good accountants, you know.
Yeah. I'm not an accountant, though, I ain't gonna lie to you. That didn't really work out, but yeah.
Dang. I thought I had somebody do my taxes or something. Yeah,
I know somebody, you know what I'm saying, but I don't think you want me to do it.
So being around this blackness, but still having this background from Franklin, that you're around black culture and farming, why didn't you choose to go the agriculture route?
Man. So as a 20-year-old, I'm going to take you back there. I was still probably, it's a common word now, I was probably still traumatized, right? From the child, like, you know, it was not a cool thing growing up, right? To know, shit, Saturday, I'm finna go work on this farm. Now,
finna plow this field.
Man, whatever, working this tobacco field, you know what I'm saying? Hang tobacco in this barn, like that wasn't a common thing, right? So when I'm 20, bro, I had no interest in farming. That was the furthest thing from mine. It was still fresh in my mind, like, no, you hooping and going to college because you don't want to do that stuff you done seen your pops and some of your older ancestors do. Like, we ain't doing that. So that was the farthest from my mind. And just to give you a heads up, I was still hooping. I ended up playing basketball at TSU for 2 years. Okay. So I took some years off, and then I walked on, what was that, 2005, 2006, and 2006, 2007, actually earned a scholarship. Shout out to Cy Alexander for giving me that opportunity. So, you know, my mom just wasn't in farming at the time. I was going to businessman school to get me a degree so I can get me a job and get me some money that wasn't, you know, out in no field in the sun, you know, working.
Yeah, he want to get that in tune with the ancestors.
Not at the time.
I get it.
Funny now is everything comes full circle, right?
Yes, it does. So once you graduate from TSU, is you out here in the workforce? What are you doing? What is your focus? What's on your mind? What is young Cody out here trying to do after the TSU experience?
So as you can imagine, just like most kids then, I still had dreams to play professional basketball, right? So after earning a spot on the team, earning a scholarship at TSU, it was hard to let the basketball go. But at the same time, I wanted some money. So I did get a job. I think I graduated in May. I had a job June 1st. You know what I'm saying? But it was not the most demanding job. It wasn't in accounting. You know, it was more using my business admin degree. It's kind of like an office job, almost like coordinating surveys for OSHA. You know, like
Okay.
the Fed agency. So in my meantime, part time, I actually pursued hooping and got 2 professional contracts and
Okay.
played basketball here at 2010, I think, to 2012. And first out of high school, I did have one offer to go to a country called Bulgaria that I didn't even know about at the time.
Shout out to Bulgaria. I don't
Didn't
even
know about it. It's Eastern
my
European,
my.
almost Russian.
You know, I was good at geography, but
Gotcha.
not now. I don't.
Gotcha.
But shout out to Bulgaria.
No doubt. But yeah, it wasn't financially, working for me. So I ended up not turning that down. Like I said, staying here, get a job, and at least fulfilling one of my childhood dreams was to get paid to play basketball. And I made that 2 seasons here, the WBA league here in America and the ABA league in America in like 2010 to 2012. And basically just kind of working using my degree and working a job.
Well, tell us about that experience because that's something that you don't get to hear about all the time. Is just these different leagues that maybe developmental leagues or just pro leagues, but because we always think about NBA or the G League, or at one point in time they had the D League, and then you had like the CBA.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't get to hear about the other leagues. So just tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, I mean, of course, most people think if you see the NBA or overseas, right, if you're not talking about those
Right.
leagues. But back, it's 2025, 10, 12 years ago, it was a lot more of these smaller leagues trying to break in. I even see quite a few now. I mean, we just had the AU women's basketball playing at Municipal Football.
Athletes United. I think it's Athletes United.
United or Unlimited, one of the
Unlimited.
two.
I think it's Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like I said, it was just a smaller league. I mean, I think the first one I played was ABA. So we had teams basically all throughout the Southeast. It was one in Nashville. I think it was one in Atlanta, one in Mississippi, and like 2 or 3 in Florida. And we played. It was probably about a 3-month season. Throughout the summer, we played in that one, and then the next one it was the CBA, but the CBA had rebranded as WBA at the time. And it actually had more teams. It had teams nationwide, but they kind of had a sectioned off playing into like a regional games, and then at the end you would all play each other together. But like I said, it was a fun experience, man. I love to play basketball. I still terrorize people in the 35 and up league. It's just something I like to do. So
Still getting buckets.
I still terrorize them, man. It's hard on 'em.
Yeah, you gonna have to tell that young lady out there about that grind. And shout out to my daughter Kenzie.
Oh yeah.
She can do a little something. She thinks she'll shoot her. She thinks she can outshoot her daddy, but who taught her how to shoot that thing. So
Yeah.
we ain't even gonna
Shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah.
I'll let her think she. But anyway.
Yeah.
So with that, like, man, and you said that one of the teams was based out of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi got some of the most underrated, like, hoopers ever. Like, I'm talking about from Monte Ellis to Al Jefferson, Travis Outlaw.
Is Mo Williams from Mississippi?
Mo Williams from Mississippi. Yeah.
I would say though, Monte, legendary. Like some of his high school stats, I seen in high school games. He scored like 90 points or something.
Yeah.
And he's around my age, so I remember hearing about him like back when I played at TSU. So Cap's telling me, but yeah, Monte, I love his game. Other people you name, like Monte is a baller.
Yeah, I just I got Mississippi roots, so
Gotcha.
anytime somebody bring up Mississippi, it's just like, yeah, I know a little something. There's no more people's down there.
Yeah, know a couple people.
All black people that spread out amongst America come from Mississippi.
Basically. And there's still a lot of us down there.
Yeah, but after the pro basketball, you fulfilled a dream.
Yeah.
After that, what was life for you like that? After that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, the bills still got to get paid, right?
Got to get paid.
So I kept a job, but other than that, I started to lean into my business admin degree. and I basically became a serial entrepreneur.
Okay. So, what we starting out with? What was the first business young Cody started?
What was the first thing? I think one of the first things I started. Well, I started the secondary hustle. I started like umpiring and refereeing for kids.
Okay.
But then the first full feed out in there, I think I started a car dealership.
Okay.
I was trying to get a car dealership, but obviously I didn't necessarily have the money to buy a lot, and pay $10,000-$20,000 to get in the game in Tennessee, especially back then, and I didn't have it. But there are ways around it. So I was working with like some other dealerships where I could get dealership license and go to the car auction. So I did that. I tried to do a logistics company. I did landscaping. Thought about opening a trucking business. And I did all of these things, and none of them were just total failures. But I think I learned the most valuable lesson in those. Like, you can open businesses to make money, and, I could do that. But if it wasn't something I enjoyed doing, there was always going to be something that happened, a hardship, a difficulty, a complication that could, kind of kill the joy and make you like, this probably is not worth it, right? So in the midst of starting those several business, that was the most important thing or the biggest lesson I felt like I learned. Like, all right, you've proven to yourself that you can open a business, you can start a business, you make money, you good with numbers, you know how to count, you know what's coming out and what's going in. But to last in this business, have a business that lasts 5 years, most people tell you're gonna need to operate for 5 years before you really see, the profit or the benefit from it.
The ROI.
Yeah, return on investment for sure. You gotta do something you love, and I think that was the biggest lesson I learned in some of those businesses I was working. Of course, I try to do real estate too, buying homes and different things like that.
Now, did you have entrepreneurship in your family background, or how did you figure out that, man, I ain't trying to work for nobody? How did the entrepreneur spirit jump into young Cody?
Yeah, my father's side, man.
Okay.
So my father's side, like I just told you, farmers are entrepreneurs, bro. Like, they don't need nobody. They go outside in the dirt, or going with the fence with their animals. They
really
do what they do. And
they really getting in that.
Yeah, and they going to take it and say, somebody can put some money in my hand, right, for what they do. So even though I didn't know it at the time, like, nothing but entrepreneurs on his side of the family. And so my pops grew a tractor trailer for 20 years. But after 20 years, he retired from that. And he actually had the second food truck in existence in Williamson County.
Okay.
And he's had it ever since. Shout out to Mo Better Barbecue and Fish. You should get you some if you ain't got it already.
So you mean, time out. Mm-hmm. So you mean tell me, cause we gonna get to the Three Sisters, but you gonna tell me that your pops got the barbecue.
Yeah, you got it.
He ain't bring your boy none.
You know what?
You see, look at this. You see how big my back is?
You need to interview Mo Better, bro. He gonna bring it for you.
Okay,
I set you up to get Mo Better here, and I promise you he'll bring you the barbecue, though.
You got a table. You got some plate. I would be up in here with my feet on the table with plate. Just,
I think you enjoy talking to him, man. He got some good stories for you,
I'm
too.
gonna calm down. I ain't ate. It's late and I ain't ate, and you talking about.
If I knew that, man, I would have brought you a plate, but I ain't.
God, dog. Jesus.
But yeah, he a real entrepreneur, man. He been doing the food truck thing since, I think, 2006, 2004, something like that. So he like 20 years in the game with a food truck, and he definitely does that amongst other things. And he was slick, a serial entrepreneur, even when he had a job. So I haven't really thought about it till you said it, but yeah, probably a little inspiration came from him for sure.
Yeah, shout out to the pops, the parentals,
sure.
because we actually share a similar background. Because my dad has been in his catering business for going on 20 years up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Shout out to Do.O.U.G.H Barbecue.
Hop Town.
You owe me for this plug I'm giving you, Daddy. Make sure you drop them ribs off. Yeah, anyway,
exactly. Give me a Mo Better plate for that plug too, for sure.
Yeah, Mo Better, Do.O.U.G Barbecue. From Franklin to Hopkinsville, baby, we connected around here.
Yeah, we got you. Might
even get some single tree barbecue sauce too. Anyway, I'm getting people free promotion. They CTC, baby. Yes, anyway, but with that said, and you going back and you looking at your lineage and like, man, my pops was doing this, his people was doing this. So with that, being inspired by that, what made you keep on going?
Keep on going. I mean, I've always been a pretty motivated cat, I would like to say. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, back to the upbringing. Like I've been getting it out the mud since a youngster, dude. You know what I'm saying? I remember 6, 7-year-old working in the tobacco field, shit, long as Broad Street in Murfreesboro, and working that thing and being in there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening and walking away though with $60, $70 of cash, cash money out.
Okay.
And when you 6 or 7 years old,
Plenty of money.
yeah, it puts a
boy.
little hustle. And it's 94 or something. So you know what I'm saying? That I think keeps me going, man. I've always been self-motivated. Seeing people work hard to get things from a young age, I feel like just put a sense of, self-motivation, self-driven in me. I'm gonna do something, like, gotta do something.
So, what was the business that stuck once you, went through the motions of, this ain't gonna work. I ain't too passionate about this one. What is the one thing that really stuck and just kept you in the game and being an entrepreneur?
Gotcha. Three Sisters Sorbet.
Okay, we here. Let's talk
Three
about it. Let's
Sisters
talk about
Sorbet.
it.
I'm gonna do it to the end,
So,
till I leave here.
with three sisters, now is this your mom? On your mom's side? Who are the three sisters? Introduce us to the three sisters.
The question I get the most: where the three sisters at? So yeah, I said my dad's a farm, which is true. They're entrepreneurial farms, but my mom actually grew up on a farm as well. And so her grandmother, my great grandmother, basically 1900, man. Like I think she was born in 1900, so when she was a teenager. So let's just say 1915.
So you can't
Go
time out. You can't say 1900s to these kids now because they gonna say you old. Like
I ain't
because if
young.
you were born in 1900s, they gonna be like, "Hey, you old."
Yeah.
Because they born in 2000, so they think the 1900s was like
A long
time
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just
But
putting
not
that-
1900s.
Yeah.
I said 1900. 1900.
Yeah.
And in 1915, because like I said, they grew up on a farm, actually in Franklin now, but back then it was considered the country. They grew berries.
Okay.
She grew a specific raspberry on her farm, and it's a summer treat, for all her brothers, the cousins, nephews, dad, whoever was on the farm. She would make this raspberry ice cream once a summer. She would make the kids on the farm pick the raspberries. She would do a little thing, get the recipe right, and everybody loved it. Now, we called it ice cream growing up, but as I came to learn, it was sorbet because it never had any milk in it. And if anyone knows, a lot of black people have lactose issues. We reject it. We have trouble digesting.
All right.
So it made sense that she would make an ice cream to relieve people in the summer that didn't have milk in it. But so that's how the Three Sisters ice cream sorbet was introduced to me as a child. It was just a family tradition. As far as the business, I just opened the business here in 2021. And how that came about, it was around the winter holidays, I would guess 2020. And I was talking to some aunts. And like I mentioned to you, the farm that my mother grew up on, that my great grandmother owned, while I was in the country at the time, as Franklin has grown, it has kind of been surrounded by growth, new neighborhoods, and things like that.
All right.
So, I'm out doing my thing. I hadn't been going to the farm as often maybe as I should, but during this holiday, she was explaining to me they have some problems with the neighbors, right? Some of these new neighborhoods thinking this is their gazebo, they cut fences in, take care of land and they ain't theirs, disrespect it, throw trash. You know how people do.
So you had to go out there like Queen Sugar.
Man, something, I don't know who Queen Sugar is, but I had to go out there and let people know that wasn't going to be, okay.
Yeah.
So by that summer, things warmed up. I'd been sitting there boiling on it for months, like, who these people think that is? I got my pops, my little brother. So we go out there, we kind of get there in order, fencing stuff up, letting people know, putting up signs, scaring the people, letting them know this ain't going to happen. Y'all thought it was cool. It's not, right? But that takes time, and that takes money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm spending lots of time and money to get this stuff in order. And lo and behold, I also remember around that time, hey man, we ain't had the the Three Sisters ice cream here in a while. Like, what's going on? And that's when I get to asking them. And part of the thing that we were about the neighbors is they were destroying the berry crop, or that's what somebody said they were. So I determined that, you know what I'm saying, got into it, kind of regenerate the berries, make sure they were still there and growing, and started harvesting. So once I did that, I talked to my oldest aunt that was living. She was kind enough to sit down, spend some time with me, teach me the recipe. Once I learned the recipe, because I just wanted, because I hadn't had it. I'm like, I'm gonna have this sorbet. I ain't had it in 3 years.
You just trying.
I want it.
Yeah,
I need some nostalgia. I need something to make me feel good.
You trying
right?
to finesse.
So, but I did it, and I actually just started giving it to friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is good. I'm finna try to give it to people, and the response I got led me to open up a business. And I want to give one quick shout out too, because one of the things that was integral in it, it's a barbershop in Franklin, Cuts and Blessings, Anthony McLemore. I took it there, and I just got such a good reception, and he actually let me put a freezer in his shop.
Oh,
And
that's
that was
dope.
and that was the beginning of me thinking, like, you know what, I can do a business. And again, like I just told you about doing something you like, I was gonna make that. I was gonna make that ice cream for me regardless, and I was gonna make it for the rest of my life. So once I found out, you know, people liked it, and I already had my business experience, I was like, yeah, we gonna do this.
Cody was finna piss off all the cousins. He over there whipping up the ice cream. I ain't told nobody. He just in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. This is my batch, baby. You got to get your own.
Now, you better get in here and crank, because that was the thing with it. It wasn't no plug it in. We had to crank that thing. So if you're not cranking this ice cream machine, you're not getting on the mine, okay? I got to see the arm work.
You know, this is really because people look at, you know, modern machinery, kitchen aid stuff, and whatever. So you telling us that you actually in there hand cranking these berries and, you know, processing it. However, I don't know the whole process, but there has to be some type of you mentioned nostalgia and bringing back restoring the old feeling of, you know, something that had been passed down from generation to generation. So how does it feel, or how does it feel creating a business out of something that, you know, that was passed down with love?
Feels wonderful, man. It feels great. But I do want to clarify, in 2025, 21, I'm not cranking anything. But we did as a child. And I did last summer. We had a big cookout. I brought out one crank just to get the feeling. But for the most part, we ain't cranking.
Okay.
But
no more cranking in 2025.
Yeah, unless it's for the nostalgia. Like I said, it's just
we might let you come out and get a little experience, so you make your own.
Yeah.
You know, when we had the storefront, when we had the brick and mortar, because I'm speaking that into existence.
Yes, sir.
You know, when you come and get that experience, we're gonna have to hand crank this, so you can crank your own berries. But we ain't cranking no berries in 2025.
Nah, not no more. It's too many cups, too much demand. If I was cranking it, bro, I'd be in here looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger in '94 or something. Man. So that's not gonna happen.
Man, but, so like I said, doing something that you know that you got from childhood and the blessings from your auntie and them. How did they feel about you pursuing a business with, you know, something that some people might feel is sacred?
I mean, they love it. I mean, it's not like I'm out broadcasting the recipe. But at the end of the day, I think my mama, she got her and 5 sisters, so it's 6 of them. They are some of the most lovely, sharing ladies, church ladies that you ever meet. They cooking every Sunday for the whole church, sharing everything they have.
They got some fried chicken.
They do, but I ain't got nothing with me. But yeah, so I mean,
I'm just making myself out to be the big
back.
Yeah, I'm just say this. Look, I'm really not that much of a eater like that. I can't even use that word these days. But it's just because I'm hungry. I ain't had nothing to eat past this time. So when you start mentioning food, it just be like, you know, it do something in my spirit.
I ain't mad at you. But they love it, man. Like I said, they like that I'm doing something productive, sharing it. And at the end of the day, they get the ice cream that we weren't getting for a while. Because of course, you know, I make sure I provide them with the product. So They love it, and again, gives me another reason, another time to bond with my mother and spend time with them. And again, to mention back to the original story, the origination of this story is, they were having an issue with some neighbors, and they, came to me to assist that.
It's called the muscle.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
they appreciate for that, if nothing else, and they understand it. It's all love.
So I know that you are the face of Three Sisters.
Oh yeah, one real quick. You asked me about the three sisters.
Okay.
So my great grandmother who created the recipe, she gave it the name Three Sisters.
Okay.
She had more than three sisters, and the name Three Sisters is not really referencing people. It's kind of like an inside joke in the family. So I just
Okay.
wanted to clarify that.
It's more than three of them.
Man, it's a whole bunch more than three sisters, but that's not,
Yeah.
the reason for the name.
And when the book come out at the
Yeah, you get all of
storefront,
those.
you're going to get the whole story.
Exactly,
We ain't going to
exactly.
give it to you right now because
Might be a screenplay, might be a play, might be anything. Who knows?
who knows?
Gotta tell the story though, and I do plan on doing that.
Right. Like I said, you got to speak them things into existence.
Facts.
And so for 2025, where do you see Three Sisters Sorbet? Where are you taking it to? What strides have you made in this year? I mean, it's still fresh in the year. We only 2 months in, about to go into the third one. So what do you see coming up for the rest of the year with Three Sisters Sorbet? Where are you trying to take it? What are your projections just with the whole brand and the storytelling of the brand?
Great question. So it is early in the year, but just launched a new website. So that's the first thing for 2025. Just launched February 1st. It's going to be Three Sisters Sorbet at Shopify.com. So that's the first thing. It's funny, we've talked quite a bit about farming. So just like in 2021, I opened the Three Sisters Sorbet business. I also got back into farming after all of that trash I talked about not wanting to farm.
See?
You get old and you want to do all the things you did as a kid. So here I am back farming. So
He up here homesteading. He got
man.
the juices and berries just all
man.
going around with the shotgun because he trying to make sure folks don't come, trample over the berry. Yeah, I know.
No, you from Tennessee, you live in the country, you definitely got to have your shotgun.
Yeah.
And I don't play, so for sure. But yeah, in that vein, so I hope my first location in 2025, as you're speaking to assistant, is actually going to be a farm stand, man. So I'm planning on opening my first sorbet location that's also going to double as a farm stand to continue to promote my farming endeavors. So I've been farming the berries for about 4 or 5 years strong now. Got a couple other produce items that I plan on to kind of scale and mass produce, and I've been practicing in the lab the last few growing seasons. And I hope this farm stand, concession stand, and sorbet shop all comes together for 2025. And stay tuned, y'all should hear more about it.
Got you. So have you learned about any of the benefits of the berries and what berries are you harvesting? Could you tell us a little bit about that? Just because, I know what some berries have antioxidants and stuff that is really healthy for people. So is there something that you've been studying about that? Because, you're going from one thing, from the business side of it, but now you're getting into the health side with the benefits and stuff like that.
For sure. So it's great that you asked that question. So a lot of people hear about blueberries, right? High in antioxidants. Yeah, I grow a particular raspberry, right? So I guess one thing I should mention, not to get off track, we've been talking about the raspberry sorbet. That's the recipe I learned from my great-grandmother. Our business now features 9 flavors.
Okay.
Right? And I created all the other 8 flavors, right? I learned the game for the first flavor, but then I was able to create all these others. So the only one I'm growing is raspberries. And my raspberry is very unique because it's a black raspberry. So if we go to Publix, I don't care, you go to Market Fresh, you can go to the bougiest Whole Foods you want, you will never find this raspberry that I grow in the store. It's a black raspberry. It's not red. And just like many things, the darker the fruit, the more rich it is in nutrients. And
The blacker the berry.
yeah, sweeter the juice. But not just sweeter, actually, the antioxidants. So like my black raspberry, and I can send you the quote, but I'm pretty sure it's 30x of the antioxidants in my black raspberry over blueberry. They're even in a category called gourmet berries.
Okay.
So my black raspberry is technically a gourmet berry. It is very rich as far as health properties. It's kind of like elderberry. You know, everyone's taking elderberry, during the pandemic and stuff. So it's basically along those lines. Super, super nutritious. Even has been known to have cancer fighting properties and different things like that. So yeah, you definitely should try to grow some black raspberries. For those interested, you can holler at me. We might be able to work something out. But you're probably gonna have to grow your own right now because all that I grow and I harvest, I take to my business.
Right.
But be patient. I might be able to help you all out in the future with that.
Might drop you a couple seeds, but you're going to have to pay for them.
Seeds might be a little hard. I can give you some seeds. Let's give you maybe some small plants that you can grow. And again, not to get into too many detail, but you could take one plant and with some patience, you could grow you a nice patch.
Got you. So what does a work day look like for you because we ain't cranking no more berries, so how do we, what's the process of, are you getting up early in the morning to start your process to start making your sorbet, or is it something that you can do over time?
Well, it depends. I still have a 9 to 5. So it depends on what work day we're talking about, right? Any work day could look different. But as far as the berry growing, it's seasonal. It depends. There's things you can do year round to make sure your patch is ready and to grow during growing season. But for the most part, the active and growing and really really paying a lot of attention to is the spring and summer months, and then in the winter you're kind of preparing for the next year as far as the berries. And then the sorbet, it depends on the flavor. Like the black raspberry, the traditional one, there's a little more prep into that one than if I'm just making a strawberry flavor, right, or just a lemon. But I mean, if I was making just all order Saturday, I would probably make sorbet from 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening.
So it is pretty much like a 9 to 5 business where you doing this whole process and prepping and things of that nature.
It's a lot to go from the fruit to the actual part where you're pouring the liquid into the ice cream freezer to make ice cream, right? Gotcha. Like it's a lot that goes into turning a fruit into sorbet. And again, we ain't using no preservatives, no caking agents, nothing like that. It's just real old school.
Raw.
Yes. Yeah. No dyes, no dairy, obviously, no preservatives, none of that. So real fruit, no packages, packaged juice, pre-juiced.
So what's the most outstanding flavor? What's the number one flavor of Three Sisters Sorbet?
I mean, I gotta go with Three Sisters Raspberry. I mean, it's the one that's been around 120 years, so it's hard to get better than that. I would probably say the most popular though is we do the raspberry mixed with lemonade and the strawberry mixed with lemonade. So the one the OG raspberry I'm talking about mixed with lemonade is probably my best seller.
Gotcha.
Right. Probably behind that would be the strawberry mixed with lemonade. Right. I don't say those are top two, but again, OG raspberry is
OG raspberry.
That's the one. You can't go wrong with that. I promise you.
Man, so on Donuts with D.O.U.G.H, we have a section, and I call those half a dozen.
Yeah.
And it's just where I pick like just a random category, and you give me your top 6 or your half a dozen.
Okay. Put me on the spot with this.
Of this particular category. And this might be a little hard. I mean, but obviously you got a sweet tooth, because you was wanting to make, the sorbet for yourself and wouldn't tell nobody. So
yeah, true.
So give me your top 6 or your half a dozen ice cream flavors.
And I ain't gonna use Three Sisters.
No, you can't.
I'm gonna give y'all a break on that one.
Yeah,
okay?
You can't do that.
Come on, man. So I'm I hate to say it, I hate to do it to you, but I'm a pretty plain guy. All right. So my family, my mother especially, some of my cousins will get a kick out of this, but I gotta go with plain old vanilla. And that's what I used to call it as a kid, and they used to make fun of me because I couldn't say vanilla. But I love vanilla ice cream. like a vanilla, chocolate. I like moose tracks.
Okay.
Right. You know what I'm saying? The chocolate. So that's 3.
So he's skinny, but he got a big back too.
Yeah, oh for sure. For sure. Moose tracks, what's that? The other vanilla with like Oreos in it.
Okay.
Cookies and cream. Yeah, cookies and
So
cream.
that's 4.
See, I don't really like the fruit ones. I go with butter pecan.
But a pecan.
Yeah, like I'm old.
Pecan.
Yeah, I'm from the
Don't
60s.
nobody like if
Pecan.
you say pecan, we know you ain't from him.
True. So that's
Pecan.
5.
What is a pecan?
And then just give me some vanilla with the caramel in it. What's the one with the caramel swirl?
Look, good.
Yeah,
That's how I know.
So I go with them 6, man. Vanilla chocolate, moose tracks, cookies and cream, butter pecan, and vanilla with caramel.
Got you. Man, and before we get up out of here,
Okay.
because you mentioned where they can find Three Sisters Sorbet online, where they could order it. But where can they find you on social media?
So you can find me at IG at 3 Sisters Sorbet, and the same handle on Facebook.
Now, do you have any like markets you're doing in the coming up season? Like maybe Nashville Black Market. Shout out to my dog Carlo, my nephew.
Shout out to Lowe's, yes, for sure.
Nashville Farmers Market. Are you doing any of those things in the coming up season?
Yeah, I definitely will do that again. I pretty much done those every summer since Lowe's been doing it. Lowe's been real cool working with. I like that market. I know I won't make it March. I'm looking at maybe April or May. I always do June, so I'm pretty sure I'll do June again. You know, especially as it warms up, it's a little more advantageous for me. But I'm also working on a partnership with another guy that's actually going to be there in March that's going to feature the sorbet in some of his products. So even though I won't be there at this first one in March, you can go to the Nashville Black Market and maybe get some of my sorbet at one of the other vendors. So, but you will see me at the Nashville Black Market. I do a hidden gem farmers market, what I did last summer. I'll probably do it again down in Spring Hill, Tennessee. It's more like in between Franklin and Columbia.
Okay.
I do a lot of pop-ups. Shout out to Slow Drip Coffee Shop out north. I did a pop-up there last fall. I'll probably do something like that again. So just follow me on IG. It's where I'm the most active, and you can see where I'll be, different markets. But I'm at a lot of farmers markets, especially as the weather warms up.
Yeah, shout out to Slow Drip because I got to pull up again and get some of them homemade Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, they killing with those. She's doing a lot over there. I like that spot.
Yeah, man, but again, this has been another episode of Donuts with D.O.U.G.H. Shout out to my man Cody Waddey for coming through, telling us about Three Sisters Sorbet. Yes, hopefully we get to try some of that good old sorbet.
I got something for you. Yeah, I got you.
We're going to do that off camera. I don't need y'all to see, me eating on camera. We ain't going to do that. Yes, and shout out to Donut Country because we actually got some Donut Country donuts here, but, we ain't got them on camera. But, behind the scenes, we do a little something. Shout out to Spread the Positive. That's the network that you can find Donuts with D.O.U.G.H. You can find me, D.O.U.G.H, on all social media platforms at Donuts with D.O.U.G.H, and also follow the network, Spread the Positive. And that has been another episode. And man, appreciate you for coming through, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Y'all make sure y'all check us out, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, sir.